Blue skies and sunshine over Swayze Field for Game 2 of this weekend's top 25 matchup in the SEC. Pulling out all the stops with a flyover before the game, it's number 24 LSU and number 25 Ole Miss. Series got started last night in Oxford. Jake Brown with an early big swing for the Tigers after a leadoff walk. He hit his 14th home run of the season. Gave LSU an early 2-0 lead. Ole Miss would answer with a pair of runs in the bottom of the first. Ole Miss led 3-2. LSU tied it up. And then in the 8th inning, Hayden Federico down into the right field corner, drove in a run to give Ole Miss the lead. The Rebels would add a couple more and would get the win in game number 1 by a final of 6-3. And so that sets the table for game 2 this weekend in Oxford. Good afternoon and welcome to Swayze Field. Alongside Keith Kessinger, I'm Richard Cross. Thanks so much for joining us. Kind of a weird game last night in the way that it unfolded.
Yeah, I think that's right. I don't think either team felt great about how they played. Just not a clean game, especially defensively. And Ole Miss able to take advantage of those LSU mistakes in the 8th to get that 3-run inning and to get game 1 win.
And Ole Miss did enough to get that win, and so trying now to win a series, and they will do so with Cade Townsend on the mound. The sophomore right-hander from California has been just tremendous this season.
All right, that's fact. I mean, the stuff has been absolutely electric. Even after the injury, he's coming back looking just like the same guy. The fastball in the mid-90s. It's a true 4-pitch mix. I mean, he really mixes his pitches and throws strikes. I mean, that's the thing, is the stuff is really good, and he doesn't get behind in counts.
Cade Townsend missed one start with an injury against Texas. Pitched only an inning in that ball game. This is the lineup that he will deal with. LSU looking for some production today out of the top of the order. Only 4 hits out of the top 5 in the order today. But Mason Braun, boy, he was a bright spot for LSU. 3 for 4 last night. Couple of singles and a double in the ball game. Get a look at number 18 there. He slides. All right, playing at first base today as well. Defensively, Ole Miss has Austin Fawley behind the plate. He has had his struggles offensively this year, but in terms of his defense, about as good as you're going to find anywhere in the country.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The credit to Fawley, because certainly he's been disappointed the way he swung a bat, and he has not carried it into the field at all.
Golden, Federico, and Becerra in the outfield. The infield the same as yesterday with Utermark, Randall, Decker, and Furness. And again, Cade Townsend on the mound for Ole Miss. Townsend 2-1 on the year. His wins have come against Ohio State and Evansville. His only loss back on March 29th. After missing the Kentucky series, he pitched and went 4 innings against Mississippi State, but took the loss in that ball game. Cade Townsend has not walked a batter in his last 2 starts for the Rebels. He'll deal with Chris Stanfield to start the ball game. And the first pitch is grounded to short. Easy hop there for Randall. Low throw and a backhand at first base by Will Furness for the first out of the game.
That's a good play by Furness. You're not expecting that. It's just a routine 2-hopper to Randall. Not expecting to have to pick that one. That was kind of an in-between hop over there at first.
Ole Miss celebrating Military Appreciation Week. They're wearing the digital camo hats, and you had the pregame flyover. A look at Will Furness there at first base. Rebels in the cream uniforms, LSU in the all gray today. A little more contrast than we had last night with purple jerseys on one side and navy on the other. Jake Brown hitting at .333 on the year. 14 home runs, 45 runs batted in. He was 1 for 5 in last night's ball game. Had the 2-run home run in his first at bat in the top of the first inning.
And it's a good day to hit today. It is warm. What wind we have blowing out, mostly out to left, but certainly going to help baseballs. As you can see, very warm. Shot of the flag's not blowing hard, but that is blowing out.
You decided to leave your shirt on in the booth.
I did today.
2 balls and a strike now to Jake Brown. 82 degrees at first pitch. Temperature's going to stay in the low 80s, upper 70s throughout the ball game with just a little bit of a breeze. (3-1) as that one got away from Cade Townsend. kind of a gentle shift on against Jake Brown. See, the third baseman, Utermark, played well off the line. Swing and a miss on the 95-mile-an-hour fastball there, and the count goes full. 46 strikeouts and just 7 walks this year, only 3 home runs allowed, and opponents hitting 189 off of Cade Townsend, making his 8th start of the year. Brown stays alive, able to get a piece and foul that one back.
I call that Nevada's first series, and Cade Townsend threw, I believe, 55 pitches and threw 50 strikes that day. Don't know that I've ever seen a starting pitcher with those kind of numbers. And 2 of those 5 balls, I think, were the last hitter he faced in the 6th inning.
Another full count pitch. Strike 3 called on the outside corner. Right at the top of the zone. Jake Brown goes away looking for out number 2.
This is a fastball. Brown thinks it's off the plate. Nice job by Fawley. We talked about one of the best catchers in the country at getting calls. And Brown goes down looking.
Ground out and a strikeout, and now Derek Curiel at the plate for LSU. He takes strike 1.
Yeah, that's the breaking ball that's just hard to take a good swing at. I mean, there's so much depth on that breaking ball. Throws it mid-80s.
4 home runs on the year, 2 of them grand slams that happened in back-to-back games. Had a grand slam against Southern a week ago in the midweek, and then in game 1 against Tennessee, able to hit a long ball with the bases loaded as well.
That'll help those RBI totals. A couple of swings, 8 RBIs.
Up and away for ball 2. 2 balls and a strike. Curiel, the center fielder, hitting .360 on the year. He is the leading hitter for the Tigers this season. The 2-1. And it's now 3-1. Cade Townsend's miss early in this ball game seems to have been up and.
I mean, really, it's early, but this is very uncharacteristic for what we have seen out of Townsend. Typically lives ahead in the count. Very few 3-ball counts.
He was full on Brown, rallied to get the strikeout, and he misses low there. That is just the 8th walk of the season issued by Cade Townsend, 2-out base runner for LSU.
Curiel does run. LSU, a team that doesn't run a lot. We talked about it last night. Neither Ole Miss nor LSU is not really a big part of their game. As you see, Cade Townsend, 13 pitches, 7 balls, 6 strikes. Again, very early, but very uncharacteristic.
Here's Cade Aaron Beatty. Last night hit in the 3-hole, drops down to the cleanup spot today. Up and in for ball 1. It's been all arm side as well for Cade Townsend. Against the left-handed hitters, he's been up and away. That was up and in to Aaron Beatty. Cade Aaron Beatty, we told you about it last night, the sophomore co-SEC player of the week after a school record 4 home runs against Tennessee in Sunday's game. Hit his first home run in the 5th inning, added 1 in the 7th, 1 in the 11th, and then a grand slam in the 12th inning of that game. A 12-inning win for LSU, 16-6. They scored 10 runs in the top of the 12th inning, most in extra innings in school history.
I think 7 was the record before.
First LSU player to ever hit 4 home runs in a ball game. Curiel at first and Aaron Beatty at the plate, and Curiel dives back in safely. A couple of early starts today in the SEC. One final so far and another one getting close. 1 ball and no strikes to Aaron Beatty after a couple of throws to first. This one on the ground through the right side of the infield. Dom Decker was pulled up the middle, and Aaron Beatty shoots that one through the right side, and LSU's got something going with a couple of outs with a walk and now a single. Jay Johnson in his 5th season as the head coach at LSU, 212 wins in that time. 2 times Tigers have carried the trophy off the field in Omaha. Did it in year 2, 2023, and then again last year twice. Jay Johnson named National Coach of the Year, 14th year as Division I coach. Came to LSU after a good job at Arizona. First pitch strike to Stephen Milam. Call him Monster Milam. He's got 4 home runs on the year. Has driven in 20. Milam 1 for 4 last night. Struck out a couple of times in the ballgame. Townsend from the stretch with a pair of runners on, and he delivers another strike. Got the outside corner working right on the outer edge, and he's ahead of Milam. No balls and 2 strikes. Both times Milam struck out last night, it was on swings at balls up around the chest. He rips this one out into shallow right field, and that's going to get LSU on the board. Curiel hits the bag at third. He'll come around to score. Becerra had to go a long way as this throw comes all the way to the plate. An RBI double for Stephen Milam, and LSU in front 1-0.
Yeah, this is that breaking ball we were talking about, but it's up. Milam did a great job, kept the hands back. Beats the shift. You can see Decker out there. Can't get to it. A bit surprised that Aaron Beatty did not score from first base on that with 2 outs. Almost able to get that ball in, and LSU with a couple men in scoring position.
Get a look there at Aaron Beatty. He was just hanging out on third base.
Yeah, so Jay Johnson kind of looked with the palms up out like, what happened? Why didn't we score 2 right there?
Check swing strike 1 for John Pearson. Pearson at third base again today. The sophomore from West Monroe has 6 home runs on the year. He's driven in 18. Just missed for ball 1. That was the 20th pitch of the inning for Cade Townsend. Last week against Florida, a quality start. 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run. He struck out 6, did not walk a batter in that game. He gets a swing and a miss from Pearson. Fastball above the belt at 96. Pearson got a piece of that one to just stay alive, and like a little bit of an awkward swing. May have tweaked something in the process. Kind of lunged to.
I'm going to say the ball bounced. Maybe tweak is the wrong word.
Okay, so it wasn't on the swing. It was on the ricochet.
Yes, I'm going to say that ball bounced, and 50% of the population understands why he's hurting right now.
Jay Johnson says, "You doing okay?" "I'm okay, Coach."
Get a look at it here. I'll let you describe that one. Go ahead.
It's not funny. And yet,
he's all right.
Good to know that he's okay. Keith Kessinger with the sophomoric humor. I was laughing too. Who am I kidding? Chuckling anyway. Pearson says, really not funny, guys. The 1-2. And he hits this one high into the air to left field. Golden going to settle shy of the track and make the catch. That ends the inning, but an RBI double for Stephen Milam has LSU on the board. Among the regular starters, William Schmidt has the best numbers on the team for LSU. The Baton Rouge native at 6'4", just over 200 pounds. The right-hander making his 9th start of the season, a 2.63 ERA, 56 strikeouts, and he throws it hard.
He does. Mid-90s fastball. It's a 3-pitch mix. There's real depth on really both his breaking balls, the slider and the curveball. Team's hitting just 208 against Schmidt.
Batting lineup that he will face today for Ole Miss: Decker, Becerra, Utermark at the top of the order. Will Furness, a couple of hits in the ball game last night, playing against his dad's former team. We showed you the big hit from Hayden Federico. Federico actually leading Ole Miss in conference play. His batting average in SEC games now up to .326. Stanfield, Curiel, and Brown in the outfield for LSU. Already got the dirty jersey for Derek Curiel. An elite defender, balanced hitter as well. Played a big role a season ago. So you get a look at Mike Bianco in the Ole Miss dugout as his team's about to swing the bats for the first time. 2022 national champions. Year before LSU won part of the run that the SEC has had that has been just incredible. Mike Bianco in his 26th season at Ole Miss. Dom Decker to hit first for Ole Miss. Led the ball game off with a single last night. LSU played him straight up defensively in that first at bat. That's what they are doing to start this game as well. They shifted against him in every at bat afterward. And the first pitch bounces in for ball one. Ole Miss was aggressive to the fastball, especially early in last night's ball game. Back-to-back off-speed pitches from Schmidt to open the at-bat to Dom Decker. Decker on the ground right to the second baseman, Dardar. He'll toss it over to Brown. Or to Braun, rather, and there's one away. Tristan Becerra now coming to the plate for Ole Miss. The senior from Greenville, South Carolina, got off to a torrid pace to begin the season. Leads Ole Miss in home runs with 14, one ahead of his teammate Judd Utermark.
It's been a while since he's hit one.
He had 5 in the week when Ole Miss played Kentucky. Couple against Austin Peay, and then 3 on the weekend. He is quickly behind in the count. No balls and 2 strikes. And how about that 98-mile-an-hour fastball from Schmidt?
It could be hard to catch up to.
Little arm side run away from the left-handed hitter Becerra, who is quickly behind in the count 0-2. And now strike 3 is called. You go 98 away and then come 98 on the hands. How about that pitch sequence?
No doubt, this is such a hard pitch to handle at any count, but certainly with 2 strikes, you're thinking out away. Schmidt comes in, and TrackMan actually has that at 98.6. So if you round up, it's 99. That one's super hard to handle.
Always appreciated it when teachers rounded up. Judd Utermark. He takes off speed for strike 1. Utermark 0 for 4 last night, scored a run in the ball game, struck out a couple of times. Had a tough night defensively as well.
Yeah, super uncharacteristic for him. He had been absolutely solid at third base, if not better than solid. Moves really well. Last night that ball just ate him up a couple of times.
Had only 5 errors all season long coming into last night's ball game. Had 2. Tough night at the hot corner. William Schmidt trying to have an easy bottom of the first inning. It's just his 10th pitch. Strike away from making it a 1-2-3 inning. 2-2. Now 3-2 to Judd Utermark. On base and slugging, still over 1,000 OPS for Utermark, but he waves at the hard slider there and goes down on strikes. Good start to the game for William Schmidt. He played 1 inning, LSU in front, 1-0. Prior to the ball game today, Ole Miss honored the 2006 SEC Tournament champions. Familiar faces back on the 20-year anniversary of that ball club. Mark Wright, part of that team, had a torrid finish to the season. He had 19 home runs and set a school record with 79 runs batted in. Cody Satterwhite had 11 wins on the pitching staff that year. Pretty good pitch there from Kate Townsend, called ball 1.
Zach Cozart played some pretty good shortstop for Ole Miss too.
Yes, he did. Went on to have an outstanding big league career, primarily with the Cincinnati Reds. On the ground, Decker, that one scoots under his glove. And it's a leadoff base hit for Mason Braun. What a weekend he's having now. 4 hits through the first 2 games.
Saw a couple of opposite field line drive hits last night. Ball down the right field line, and now this one up the middle.
That 2016 for Ole Miss. Will Klein, Brett Buckvich, Lance Lynn, Craig Rodriguez, Cody Satterwhite, as we mentioned. Guys that pitched the most on that team. This ball lined out into left center field, a base hit, and this one is going to be cut off just shy of the warning track. That's the second double of the game for LSU, as Omar Cerna Jr. gets a base hit. He caught last night. He's in the DH role tonight. LSU second and third with nobody out here in the second.
Yeah, it's a cutter, and that ball's down in the zone. That's just a good piece of hitting by Cerna. Watch this. This ball is down. Cerna just drops the barrel, drives that into left center field. That's just a good piece of hitting right there. Federico does a nice job keeping that ball in front of him. LSU aggressive at the plate, 4 base hits, taking some good swings on Cade Townsend.
First pitch strike to Seth Dardar. Dardar had a tough night last night. He was 0 for 4 and struck out 3 times. This is a guy that's 2 weeks removed from being co-SEC Player of the Week. 2 weeks ago, he was 6 of 10 on the weekend against Kentucky. Takes high for a ball there. Had 4 doubles and a home run, drove in 5 that weekend.
It's a sport that'll humble you in a hurry. You're hot, and then you're not. But the other part that's good is you get a chance to come back today and play.
2-1 now to Dardar. Something back about that 2006 team. Was it 4 future big leaguers were on that team? Chris Coughlin, Zach Cozart, Alex Presley, and Lance Lynn. There's a big swing and a miss. The count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes as Cade Townsend trying to start the process of working himself out of a jam after a leadoff single from Mason Braun and a double from Omar Cerna. 2nd and 3rd. Nobody out in the inning. LSU already in front, 1-0 over Ole Miss. And there's a strikeout. Swing and a miss for Dardar. 4th time that he's punched out this weekend. 2nd strikeout of the game for Townsend.
And Jay Johnson post-game last night talking about not getting guys in from 3rd with less than 2 outs and how good they have been in his career, and that this team has struggled some with that. Certainly Dardar the first opportunity today, and big strikeout for Cade Townsend.
1-0 LSU in front of Ole Miss, and back to the top of the order, Chris Stanfield. Two balls and no strikes to Stanfield. Led off last night's ball game with a walk, 5-pitch walk. Then he scored on Jake Brown's 2-run home run. This ball hit out into the air into center field. Federico going back, makes the catch. Both runners tag at 3rd base. Mason Braun comes home, touches the plate. It's 2-0 LSU as Cerna tags and goes to 3rd on a sacrifice fly from Chris Stanfield.
Yeah, nice job by Stanfield. You get the ball up in the zone. You know, if you get it in the air, you're going to do your job. That's exactly what he did. No chance for Federico to get either LSU runner. LSU doubles that lead to 2-0.
Jake Brown struck out looking in his first at bat, trying to get the runner home from 3rd and give LSU a 3-0 lead.
I think if you're Ole Miss, it's 2nd and 3rd, nobody out. If you're able to escape this with just the 1 run, it's a nice job minimizing. Feels like pretty big at bat right here for Brown, trying to get that 2nd run this inning in for LSU.
2 outs in the top of the 2nd inning. Cade Townsend has now given up as many hits as he did in last Saturday's ball game. Brown goes away on strikes, looking for the 2nd time. So Townsend is able to minimize. Even with the loss last night to Texas A&M, Texas stayed at number 2 in the RPI, followed by Alabama at 3, who also lost last night. The Florida Gators got a win over Georgia. They moved up to 5. You see Ole Miss currently at 11. That's up a couple of spots from where they were in yesterday's RPI. How about that? 8 of the top 20, or the top 19, coming from the SEC. Ole Miss went 1-2-3 in the bottom of the first inning with a ground out and a couple of strikeouts. An outstanding start for William Schmidt. Will Furness going to lead things off, followed by Hayden Federico and Cannon Golden. First pitch, just like it did in the top or the bottom of the first, bounces into Will Furness. Furness with a couple of hits in last night's ball game. He's ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes right here. Scored a run, drove one in. Also walked one time in the ball game. The senior just had a really solid career for Ole Miss. Played sparingly his first couple of years, but has been a mainstay in the lineup the last couple of seasons for Ole Miss. Had double-digit home runs a year ago. Power numbers down for Will Furness right now, just 2 home runs on the season. He's ahead in the count, 3 balls and a strike.
Yeah, and if you're Ole Miss, you certainly want to see those home run numbers tick up some for Furness. Guy capable of being double-figure home run guy.
Fouls this one away. Plenty of pop in the bat. He's kind of shown gap-to-gap home run power. In some ways, it's changed his approach at the plate to make him a more complete hitter, dealing with a full count. And he takes strike 3. Goes away looking at a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. That's 3 punch-outs in a row by Schmidt.
You almost wonder if Furness thinking off speed right there. That one catches a lot of the plate. Furness knows immediately that that is strike 3. And in the background of that shot, saw Mike Bianco kind of with the eye roll. Can't be taking those fastballs with 2 strikes.
Here's Hayden Federico, 2 for 3 with an RBI in last night's ball game, and he takes strike 1.
That's just a hammer there. I mean, that is tremendous depth. Just a power breaking ball.
This one stays up and away. Another big crowd at Swayze Field. Energized crowd in last night's ball game, especially late. 1-1. That one just missed, 2-1.
And there were times it felt like the crowd made a difference in the game. I thought there was an energy that certainly helped the Ole Miss team. As you just called it, another big crowd here today.
Two and two now to Federico, nips the corner.
If you ever want to know why hitting's hard these days, that's it, right? The guy's throwing 98. And on a 2-1 count, he throws an 87-mile-an-hour backdoor breaking ball.
Comes down and in at 97. And started the at-bat with a hard, deep 82-mile-an-hour curveball.
Just a hammer. But even when you get in the hitter's counts, you're still not sure what you're getting.
Full count pitch, and this one's down and in, and Hayden Federico is on base. First base runner of the ball game for the Rebels.
I really feel like Federico's really come around the last couple of weeks. The guy that Ole Miss was expecting a lot from this season. The bats have just gotten a lot better once SEC play has started.
Cannon Golden goes after the first pitch and fouls it back. That was a fastball at 96 for strike 1. Golden 0 for 2 in last night's ball game. Was on base one time with a walk. This one fouled away. It's 0-2. I'm a little torn on whether or not we pass along periodic updates from the Masters on moving day at Augusta. There may be some that are recording it, but I feel like there are enough ways that you can watch that if you want to keep up with it in real time, you can.
I say go for it. I'd kind of like to know, so go ahead.
I'll pass it along. Golden fouls this one toward the seats, third base side and out of play. Rory McIlroy entered the day with a 6-shot lead, the largest 36-hole lead in Masters history. He is 1 over on his round. Actually, he is 2 over now on his round and trails Cam Young by a shot. Cam Young has had a big day. He's 11 under. We got a green jacket.
These are friends from yesterday.
In the house.
Still wearing the green jacket.
To go along with the purple cap. 0-2 to Golden. Scotty Scheffler had a big day. He shot a 7 under 65. Furness struck out to start the inning. Federico drew the full count walk. It's another 0-2 coming to Cannon Golden. And he's battling, stays alive as he fouls off the fastball.
That is 4 in a row to Golden. He has seen nothing but fastballs this at bat. Been late on all 4.
He talked about the things that we've seen from William Schmidt now through an inning and a third. Obviously the outstanding fastball. It's mixed in the slider and the curveball. There's a check swing, and Golden not able to hold up. Third base umpire Clint Fagan said he went around. That's strikeout number 4 for William Schmidt.
And after seeing the 4 straight fastballs, he gets the breaking ball. That back foot breaking ball just could not hold up the swing. Look at it right here. You can see just that back foot breaking ball. Ball ends up just buckles Golden.
A little harder to tell from that straight on center field angle, but it looked like the bat kind of released. And then there's a first pitch strike to Braden Randall. 2 down in the inning for the 5 outs recorded so far today via the strikeout for William Schmidt. Go to first, and Federico gets back in. So the question I was going to ask you, there was kind of a major league philosophy that first time through the order, a pitcher didn't want to get deep into his repertoire. A lot of fastballs first time through the order, and then you would kind of add those as the game went along. Has that philosophy completely gone away?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see that much, certainly in the college game that we cover. I mean, I think those guys go out mixing pitches from the very beginning.
Randall 0 for 3 last night. Did have an RBI with the sacrifice fly. Struck out a couple of times. He's behind in the count 0-2. Boy, I think everybody in the infield, but especially Schmidt, thought that that was going to be strike 3. Maybe just off the plate. It's 1-2. This one up and away. There's been anything a little off with Schmidt, it's been when he's gone to that curveball and maybe has missed up with it. But we've seen a couple of the elite curveballs, hammer as you called it, drop in as well. He misses down there, and the count is full to Braden Randall.
That's a good take by Randall right there. That's the one when you're on the mound, you were expecting the hitter with 2 strikes to swing at that ball. That ball's in the zone a long way, which is exactly the look that you want to give the hitter. How long can you keep it in the zone, then it fall out? Expect the guy to swing over the top of it.
Full count pitch, fouled away. Federico was moving. Full count and 2 down in the inning.
Paul was holding on Federico over at first base. 3-2 count, 2 outs. Most times you're going to move, especially with left-hand hitter, you're going to move your first baseman back behind the runner. LSU not wanting to give any extra steps over there to Federico.
Inside, ball 4. That's a couple of walks in the inning for William Schmidt. Ole Miss has got first and second with 2 down, and they're looking for a 2-out base hit, but a meeting going to happen on the mound. Yeski going to go out and visit with William Schmidt. Had a conversation about being too fine.
Yeah, it could be, and it could be he just sees something in the delivery that he doesn't like and wants to fix. Most of the time, these trips are mental. When you're going to go out and tell the guy, trust your stuff, don't be too fine, exactly like you said. But occasionally, guys like Nate Yeski, who are fantastic pitching coaches, they identify things. They've watched him throw, they've watched him in the bullpen, and see something to be able to go out and make an adjustment. It's the 8th hitter in the lineup for Ole Miss. Ole Miss has put 1 ball in play. That was Decker with the ground ball leading off the game.
Becerra and Utermark struck out to end the inning in the first. Furness struck out, then you had a walk to Federico, a strikeout to Golden, and a walk to Braden Randall. And that brings Austin Fawley to the plate. Fawley has had his struggles offensively this year with a 179 average, a guy that hit 21 home runs a year ago. Fawley dealing with Schmidt. It's a first pitch breaking ball for strike 1. He's off the breaking ball outside the zone, 1-1.
Nice job by Aaron Beatty right there.
When you find yourself in a spot like Austin Fawley is in, striking out a lot, struggling to put the ball in play, is there anything you can do to kind of take it back to something more basic?
Yeah, I mean, normally what you're trying to do if you're a guy that's having trouble when you get to 2 strikes is just try not to get to 2 strikes. It sounds simple, but just want to be super aggressive, get the ball in play earlier in the count. But I know right now for Fawley, he feels like he goes to the plate and it's 1-2, 0-2. It seems like every at-bat, and of course, Schmidt paints 2 breaking balls on him this at-bat.
Fawley has not seen a fastball in the at-bat. Behind in the count. First and second after a couple of walks. And Fawley swings and misses at the breaking ball. Strikes out to end the inning. Ole Miss strands a couple.
Yeah, and that hammer again. You can see it. Schmidt gets that ball down and away. Fawley swings over the top, and LSU's got a 2-0 lead.
We gave you the top half of the RPI for the SEC. This is the bottom half, and you look at Oklahoma at 20. That qualifies for the bottom half. Same for Georgia at 24. The thing you're not used to seeing is LSU at 75, and it really, more than anything, it's a function of some of their non-conference losses, something we talked about last night. A couple of losses to Sacramento State, a loss to Northeastern, a loss to McNeese. Bethune-Cookman earlier this week as well. And so LSU, in terms of what they do in the SEC, it doesn't feel like there's going to be a lot of concern about whether or not they are a regional team. But if they want to get into the conversation to host in Baton Rouge, as they have done so many times through the years, you're going to have some big wins. Cade Townsend appears to have a communication issue. Foley had to adjust his earpiece.
Yeah. May have been Foley that had the issue.
Maybe when Cade Townsend threw his arm, he's like, can I get a sign?
Yeah, well, I mean, he doesn't want to throw it to a catcher that doesn't know what's coming.
Curiel to start the inning. He takes a fastball low for ball one. Drew the walk back in the first. Scored on the RBI double from Stephen Milam. Takes a strike there. The count goes to 1-1. LSU with a run in the first, a run in the second. So already the Tigers have surpassed offensively what Florida did last Saturday. This one a big hopper to Dom Decker at second base. Curiel retired for the first out of the inning.
I know it drives you crazy. That was actually Randall that caught that one. That was the shortstop. You need us to go to the Major League shift rules.
I don't think I would be opposed to that at all. Of course, I guess I should probably look out before each pitch. Okay.
It was right
Where's
to second. It was right
set up
to the second baseman. It's just the shortstop was standing there.
Cade Aaron Beatty takes ball one. All right, so we got Utermark over at third. Randall's playing normal shortstop.
This is normal. Look, I mean, everybody's playing exactly like where they drew it up.
Federico shaded a couple of steps toward the right center gap. The 1-0 to Aaron Beatty. He hits this one sharply to Utermark. Bobbled it, picks it up, throws across in time for the out, and maybe a sigh of relief for Judd Utermark over at third base.
That ball was smoked, hit right to him. He makes the hard part. He catches it, then he drops it. And yes, I feel certain Utermark able to breathe a little bit easier. Had a tough night last night. And that first ball hit today, then you drop it. Certainly glad to get the out.
A couple of ground ball outs, and now Stephen Milam coming to the plate. Had an RBI double in the first inning. Ole Miss was shifted against Milam, and he kind of hit a hook shot down the right field line. LSU going to take an offensive timeout here as Milam will come over and visit with the head coach, Jay Johnson. Did this a couple of times last night.
Quick couple of outs. Jay Johnson going to try to slow things down a little bit.
Sometimes that's for your own pitcher. I wonder if this is more about trying to get
could be a little bit of both.
Townsend out of a rhythm.
Certainly giving Schmidt a little bit more time in the dugout. And yes, I think that we saw last night Jay Johnson doing it, I think, as much just make the pitcher stand out there and think for a minute. Or he could be telling his hitter, like, get a base hit, right? That would be good coaching. Call him over. Hey, let's get a hit here.
Not the two-time National Coach of the Year for nothing.
That's right. Hey, do what you did last time. Hit that double.
First pitch strike to Milam. Fastball, outer half. Ole Miss has shifted once again against Milam. You've got Braden Randall playing normally where the second baseman would B, and Decker out in shallow right field. There's strike two.
That's why he had Milam the first at bat. 0-2. Went breaking ball. Milam stayed back. Drove that ball down the right field corner. See what Joel Mangrum dials up here on 0-2.
2 down in the inning. Bases empty. 45th pitch of the game for Townsend. He missed in with the fastball there. The 1-2. Foul back. Milam gets a piece of it to stay alive.
I haven't seen that breaking ball good, though. The hand stayed back good then. Again, up in the zone with the breaking ball. Certainly easier to stay back when you see that ball up than it is when the ball is down in the zone.
Milam, the junior from Las Cruces, New Mexico. 1-2. Hits it on the ground, and that's off the glove of Randall out into shallow right field, a play that should have been made. LSU gets a 2-out base runner.
Randall goes to his left. He didn't have to go very far on this one. The ball was hit hard. And not really sure why he even left his feet right there. I think he might could have gotten in front of that ball, but likely to go as a base hit for Milam. It was 105 off the bat. That ball was hit well.
I think it would drive you crazy if you shift. The defense was the right call, and then you're just not able to make the play. It is a hit for Stephen Milam, so he's got a 2-hit game going. And we'll go back in standing. 5 hits off of Townsend. John Pearson flew out to left his first time up, 0 for 1 today, 0 for 3 on the weekend. Pitch count a little higher than you would like it to be through 3 innings. One and one. Milam 2 out of 5 in stolen bases this season for LSU. Pearson fouls this one back. Pearson was a top 10 player in the state of Louisiana coming out of West Monroe. He is the younger brother of Josh Pearson, also in this LSU team. Older brother Jacob is a draft pick of the Los Angeles Angels back in the 2017 draft. John Pearson gets a piece of it to stay alive. I should say former LSU outfielder Josh Pearson. He was finished up last year. Another 1-2 from Townsend. Again, Pearson fouls it off to stay alive, battling at the plate. Reached out, puts it in play left side. Utermark Fields throws to first in time to get John Pearson, and LSU strands a runner. First time they haven't put a run on the board. 2-0 as we go to the bottom of the third. William Schmidt has been on point through the first couple of innings. He does have 2 walks mixed in, but has struck out 5. It's been a combination of swinging and looking.
Yeah, it's been a combination of good. That stuff
good and good.
That stuff is fantastic. He's spotting a 98-mile-an-hour fastball and then dropping the hammer breaking ball, along kind of mixing a slider in there as well. Yeah, he's been good. Almost put 1 ball in play through 2 innings.
That was the leadoff man, Dom Decker, who hit a ground ball to the second baseman. 5 strikeouts and 2 walks since Dom Decker. Now Owen Pano to lead off the bottom of the third for the Rebels. Pano had a solo home run in last night's ball game. The time gave Ole Miss a 3-2 lead over LSU. That lead would hold until the 7th inning when LSU tied it up. Pano goes after the first pitch and fouls it back.
And I think that's the approach if you're Ole Miss you have to use. If you see fastball, put it in play. Whatever the count is, almost wherever that fastball is in the zone, attack it.
LSU got a run in the 7th last night to tie it at 3. Into the bottom of the 8th inning, Ole Miss scored 3 runs to take a 6-3 lead. That was the final margin. That's a breaking ball. It stayed up in the zone a little bit, and Pano just able to foul it off.
Yeah, that was a mistake. That was a very hittable breaking ball for Pano. Took a good swing at it, fouled it straight back. Pano's had 2 good pitches to hit this at bat and fouled them both off.
Ball and 2 strikes. And now Pano goes down on the hard breaking ball. Strikeout number 6.
Yeah, and this is what happens if you miss the first 2, and then you give a guy like Schmidt a chance to really break off the hammer. Breaking ball down in the zone. That one goes down as the pitch you struck out on, but if you're the hitter, you actually struck out earlier when you didn't put those balls in play.
Top of the lineup, and Dom Decker, and he takes strike 1. Breaking ball runs inside. Has he thrown a changeup?
He is not. I don't believe he's thrown one today.
1-1. 2-1 now to Dom Decker. Coming into this weekend, Dom Decker led the SEC in walks, 36 of them on the season. Did not walk in last night's game, had the 1 hit. Chops this one to the right side. Charging is Dardar. Underhand toss to first. And they're 2 down in the inning.
The only Ole Miss player through 1 time through to hit it was Decker, and hit the same ball twice. A couple of hopper to second base.
Has not gotten a lot on it, but has put the ball in play.
Put the ball in play.
Tristan Becerra struck out looking his first time up. Becerra had a couple of hits in last night's game, scored a pair of runs. Lays off and takes ball one. 1 ball, 1 strike. I don't think the LSU dugout liked that. Just kind of looking down and saw Nate Yeski come out of his chair. 1-1. Now 1-2. So doubled up on, relatively speaking, a couple of slower curveballs to start the at-bat. Then he comes with the 96-mile-an-hour fastball. And then back to the curveball, and he gets a sword. Becerra strikes out for the second time today. 2-0 LSU through 3. This is D1 Baseball's list of draft prospects for draft-eligible sophomores. Some good names on there. Cade Townsend at number 14. Tegan Coons at Tennessee at 23. Arkansas moved Gabe Gackle to the bullpen this weekend. You see Ruger Riojas at Texas. Some good names on that list, including a couple of Georgia Bulldogs. 2-0 our score in Oxford. LSU with a run in the first, a run in the second. Tigers in front. Ole Miss does not have a hit through 3 innings. On the ground, up the middle. How about another base hit for Mason Braun?
Have a weekend.
That is his 5th hit. 3-hit night. Last night he's got 2 in his first 2 at-bats today.
He gets the ball up in the zone, and Randall gets there. That ball kind of kicks over his glove on the dive.
Braun has literally used the entire field this weekend. A couple of opposite field base hits last night. He pulled one to right field late in the ball game, and he's gone right side and up the middle today. Omar Cerna doubled his first time up. It was this combination in the second inning, single by Brown, double by Cerna, that led to LSU's second run. Swings and misses. He's behind in the count. No balls and 2 strikes. 3 strikeouts and 1 walk for Cade Townsend so far today. LSU, though, 6 hits through their first 3 at-bats, now into the top of the 4th inning. The 0-2, swing and a miss, tied him up. Strikeout number 4 for Townsend.
We saw Cerna go down in the zone his first at-bat and hit a double. Cade Townsend comes back with the 2-strike fastball up. Cerna cannot catch up to it.
Georgia bounced back to beat Florida today 5-1 after losing in last night's ball game. So that series even at a game apiece, headed to a decisive Sunday. First pitch strike to Seth Dardar, batting in the 9-hole, struck out his first time up. Oklahoma wins the series against Vanderbilt in Nashville, 6-5 the final today. Andy got game one on Thursday night. This one hammered foul down the right field line. Oklahoma gave up an 8-run first inning last night and then came back and won against the Commodores, and they win 6-5 today. South Carolina finishes off the sweep of Missouri, a 6-4 victory in Columbia on the road today for the Gamecocks over the Missouri Tigers. The 0-2 to Dardar, swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts after the leadoff single for Townsend.
We've seen a couple guys out there on the mound today with some swing and miss breaking balls. You see it here, 12-6 curveball, even up in the zone. Dardar unable to put the ball in play. And the strikeouts are piling up today.
Top of the order, Chris Stanfield batting for the third time today. He's got a ground out and a sacrifice fly. Officially 0 for 1, and he takes strike one. Townsend right now looks the most comfortable that he has at any point in the game. Sac fly from Stanfield drove in LSU's second run, put them ahead 2-0, and that is where we stand here with 2 outs in the top of the fourth. Texas A&M in College Station had a long rain delay in the bottom of the first inning. They're now in the top of the fourth, and A&M leads Texas 9-2, trying to take the first 2 in the series. Just off the plate for ball 1 to Stanfield. Alabama leading Arkansas through 3, 2-1 in Tuscaloosa. Tennessee, Mississippi State, Kentucky, and Auburn both with nighttime starts in Starkville and on the Plains, respectively. The 1-2. 2-2. Runner on first, Mason Braun led the inning off with a single up the middle. But 3 straight strikeouts after that single for Cade Townsend.
And Townsend showing his stuff there. We see the fastball up, the curveball out, and then the cutter. Cade Townsend with 3 strikeouts.
10 SEC teams currently in D1 Baseball's top 25, including our two teams here this weekend. LSU and Ole Miss back into the top 25 this week after their series wins last weekend. Judd Utermark going to lead things off for Ole Miss in the bottom of the fourth inning. The Rebels hitless through their first three at-bats. Boy, William Schmidt has been outstanding so far. He has struck out 7.
It's just to overmatch the Ole Miss hitters the first time through the order.
52 pitches through 3 innings, and Schmidt starts Judd Utermark off with a fastball that misses for ball 1. There's a fastball strike right at the top edge of the zone, and the count goes to 1-1. And now on the outside corner.
3 straight fastballs to Utermark this at bat. Certainly wondered if Schmidt would go to that breaking ball right here.
Got Utermark on a breaking ball swinging in his first at bat. Judd fouls this one off out of play.
Might break a ball, but that was way up in the zone. Mark had a good swing at it.
That goes to your point earlier. When you get a mistake pitch, you better take advantage.
Certainly, the way Schmidt's throwing it today, when you get one of those, you don't just need to swing, you need to put it in play.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Judd Utermark. There's not a lot of standing around on the mound for LSU starting pitchers. We saw it with Kason Evans last night. He was just, the second the batter was into the box, he was into his delivery. Schmidt doesn't waste much time either. Full count. And that one is just off the outside edge. Full count walk. That's the 3rd walk issued by William Schmidt.
That's a pitch we've seen Utermark swing at a lot. That was a nice job laying off that 3-2 ball just off the outer edge. For the first time today, Ole Miss gets the leadoff man on base.
All 3 base runners for Ole Miss via the walk. Here is Will Furness. He gets a curveball that stayed up and laid off of it for strike 1. Utermark at first runs well. I don't think either team had a stolen base in last night's game.
Just not a big part of the offense for either one of these two teams. Certainly they have some guys that can steal. That is not how the offense, what the offense is built around.
Utermark 7 out of 8 on the season. The 1-1. Lifted down the left field line, but slicing foul. A lot of people down there, and that ball carried a long way for Will Furness.
Yeah, very hittable fastball there. That was a middle. And again, Ole Miss swinging it the right pitches a lot, just not able to get him in play.
Ball and 2 strikes to Will Furness. Schmidt delivers, and it's in the dirt. Utermark read it well. He takes a turn at second base, and now he's going to stay there.
Super heads-up play by Braun. I'm not sure Aaron Beatty was ever going to find that ball. He was looking in the wrong dugout for it. Braun immediately recognized it, came over and picked the ball up about halfway down to first base.
Ole Miss with a runner in scoring position for the second time today. Federico got there as well after the Braden Randall walk. 2-2 to Furness. Runs inside for ball 3, and the count now full to the Rebels cleanup hitter Will Furness. A couple of hits in last night's ball game, hitting .306 for the season coming into today's ball game. Full count from Schmidt. This one in the dirt, gets away to the LSU dugout. Utermark going to hit the bag at third. He'll come around to score. Will Furness still running, and the umpires finally realize that that ball went into the dugout. Will they award Utermark? So you get a base on the ball going into the dugout. The only question that I would ask is, he took off with the ball in the dirt. Does it matter?
No, he's going to have to go back to third base. Unfortunately for Ole Miss, because
they're going to send Will Furness back to first base.
Yeah, Aaron Beatty was not going to find that ball in time to keep Utermark from scoring, but once it went in the dugout, it is one base from where you started if it comes from the pitcher. Bianco certainly couldn't. Don't blame him for trying to figure out some argument here, but I don't believe he can win this one. See, Aaron Beatty doesn't know where it is. That ball goes in the dugout right there. And as I said, if it doesn't go in the dugout, Utermark's going to score. But I don't believe it's a judgment call.
For now, they have not brought Judd Utermark out of the dugout and put him back on third base. Jay Johnson out to have a conversation. So now Utermark talking with Mike Bianco. Clint Fagan is the crew chief. He's the third base umpire.
This will be a crew chief review with regards to boundary and the ball going up the play. This plays under further review.
We appreciate you wearing a microphone. We would like for you to turn it on, Mr. Fagan.
I just don't think this is a judgment call. I mean, maybe if he gets to third before.
If he's at third before the ball gets into the dugout?
But he's not. Because that ball goes straight in the dugout. I don't see a scenario here where Utermark's not back at third.
And it rolled on a straight line from where it bounced off of Aaron Beatty into that opening.
And again, if there's a judgment call to be made, I mean, Utermark was going to score, but that's not my understanding of the rule. I believe if the ball bounces off from the catcher on a thrown pitch, it's one base from where you started. Clearly, there's more judgment to it because we wouldn't be reviewing if that was the case. You might have to be a lip reader, though, Richard. Not sure we're gonna hear what he says.
We are being told that there is an issue with his microphone. We gathered as much, but
you called that right away.
Yeah, I don't think it's.
It's not a user error. It's not that he's not hitting the right button.
It's a longer conversation than I think you would have expected anyway.
No
Here
doubt.
we go.
After review, the pitch ball did go out of play. Therefore, it's a one-base award. Therefore, we'll have runners at first and third base.
All right, so the pitched ball went out of play, so it's a one-base error. And was the question whether or not it actually went into the LSU dugout?
Maybe that was the question, because certainly, I don't think there's interpretation on that rule. You go one base if it bounces away from the catcher on a thrown ball. Position player, it's two, right? You throw the ball in the stands, it's two from where you started, but pitcher, it's one. But they spent some time looking at something. Meanwhile, Ole Miss does have first and third and nobody out. As good as Schmidt's been, 4 walks.
Back-to-back walks to start things off here in the fourth, and now Hayden Federico, who has been Ole Miss's best hitter in SEC play.
I think Schmidt getting a little frustrated too with Jeremy Dupree's zone. Feels like he's getting squeezed a little bit. You see just a little bit of body language on a few pitches this inning.
Utermark at third, Furness at first. And Federico hits this one out to right. Brown on the run will make the catch. Tagging at third, coming home, Judd Utermark, a sacrifice fly for Federico. Ole Miss on the board, now down 2-1.
Brown was playing deep out there in right field, worked out perfectly for LSU. Federico continues those good at-bats. Get the ball up in the air, score a run. Ole Miss still without a base hit. He's cut the deficit to 1. See, Brown didn't have to go far for that one.
He almost bobbled that ball, or bobbled it, nearly dropped that ball, getting it out of his glove. Not that that would have affected the catch, but potentially could have allowed Furness to move up. Here's Cannon Golden. Curveball stays high for ball 1. And lost in all of that, you had Schmidt that had to stand out there on the mound for a while during that review. Walk, sacrifice fly, and it's a 1-run game. 2-1 LSU in front of Ole Miss. Golden swings through the breaking ball there. It's ball and a strike. Alongside Keith Kessinger, Richard Cross with you in Oxford. Game 2. Ole Miss got game 1 in the series last night, 6-3. Now a ball and 2 strikes. Steady diet of curveballs to Golden in this at bat. The 1-2. Got a piece to stay alive, and that was another one. '71st pitch of the game for William Schmidt.
Which is a lot with only 3 1/3 innings.
And LSU has some guys kind of stirring in the bullpen. Nobody throwing yet.
Feels like a few more breaking balls this inning up in the zone with Schmidt. Didn't see a lot of that. We did see a little bit of arm side miss early, but most of those breaking balls were down and tough. A few more hittable breaking balls here in the 4th.
Ball and 2 strikes to Cannon Golden. Golden chops this one. Going to be fielded by Schmidt. He'll throw to first, and Golden retired as Furness goes to second, but 2 down now in the inning. If that ball's a little more toward the first base line, that becomes perhaps a more difficult play. Seven-hole hitter for Ole Miss, Braden Randall, walked his first time up. William Schmidt has not given up a hit in this game, but he has walked 4. A couple of walks in this inning, a wild pitch. Got Judd Utermark to second base. Another wild pitch got him to third base. And then the sacrifice fly from Federico scored Ole Miss's first run. Schmidt has quite literally been unhittable today.
Yeah, Ole Miss hasn't taken many good swings on him today. The 4 walks have certainly hurt him, led directly to the run this inning.
Team meeting on the mound over as Braden Randall steps in. LSU playing Randall to pull on the right side of the infield. He takes a fastball for ball 1. And maybe a little more of what you were talking about with the body language from Schmidt. Pitch right there at the bottom of the zone. Did not get the benefit of the doubt on the call.
3 or 4 this inning certainly could have gone the other way.
Randall fouls this one off. Rory has retaken the lead with a birdie at 15. He's gotten back to even par for the round. He's one in front of Cam Young, who shot a 65. Sam Burns still on the course at 10 under par through 15. The 1-1. 2 balls and a strike. Shane Lowry had an ace today. He made a hole-in-one on par 3 7th. Two and one. And that one gets the inside corner, and the count goes to 2-2 on Braden Randall. Looking for a base hit to try to score Will Furness and even this game at 2 runs apiece. Schmidt trying to get out of the inning. This ball out into right field, a base hit. Furness hits the bag at third. It's picked up by Brown. He throws toward the plate, cut off. Furness steps on the plate at home. An RBI single for Braden Randall, and we've got a new ball game, 2-2.
That's a really good piece of hitting by Randall. That was a breaking ball down. He which went down and got it. You're going to see this ball is down in the zone, and Randall just drops the barrel on it. Furness, who does not run great at second base, able to get there. Brown had to go too far. And the first hit of the day for Ole Miss ties this game at 2. Back-to-back walks leading off innings, man. They just score.
Pair of walks, a couple of wild pitches, a sacrifice fly, and then an RBI single. First hit of the game for Ole Miss coming in the bottom of the 4th inning as the Rebels put 2 on the board and even the game at 2. And now Austin Fawley to the plate. Fawley struck out his first time up. Fawley gets the first pitch. That was a belt-high fastball, and he fouled it straight back. You may remember that Schmidt in the first at-bat early in the count went fastballs on Fawley before going to the breaking ball to put him away. Balls and 2 strikes to Austin Fawley, and kind of back to our previous conversation, it feels like that has been the
you
thing.
might as well go to the plate. Yeah, when you're struggling, it's what it feels like. You go to the plate and look at the scoreboard, and it's 0-2, 1-2 every time.
Back safely at first, Braden Randall.
If there was a positive in your Ole Miss, so Fawley took a good swing at that first pitch. We've seen him take some fastballs over the course of this season that were hittable. He took a good swing at that one, just fouled it back.
Randall gets back in safely once again. Might that have been the conversation with Mike Clement before the at-bat? Hey, they went fastball to you the first time up.
It almost certainly had something to do with be aggressive. You see a ball in the zone early, hit it.
One ball and 2 strikes. Mike Clement, third base coach, longtime hitting coach on this Ole Miss team. Longtime member now, Mike Bianco's staff. One, 2. This one lifted high in the air to left center field on the run. Ball is gone. Austin Fawley goes deep, a 2-run home run, and the Rebels take the lead in the bottom of the 4th.
Off speed, and this one's up. We've talked about this inning. Schmidt has missed up with some off speed. Fawley swung through, and you can see it's just a breaking ball that stays way up. Fawley doesn't miss it. And what Ole Miss saw Fawley do a lot of last year was hitting home runs. Certainly glad to see him do that if you're in the Ole Miss dugout.
4th home run of the year for Fawley, and frustration for Schmidt. Does not give up a hit until the 4th inning. It's an RBI single and then a 2-run home run. Ole Miss with a big inning here in the bottom of the fourth. First offense of the day for the Rebels. That's 2 in a row that have missed to Owen Pano batting in the 9-hole. Pano had a solo home run last night, and Nate Yeske going to come out to talk with William Schmidt, who looks really frustrated.
Yeah, and now you look at that pitch count, though, and you're at 84 here in the fourth inning. That starts to be a real issue about how long you're going to stay in. And if you're Schmidt, you obviously you're frustrated because, I mean, he's watching the same Ole Miss hitters have all the issues they've had, and he realizes he walks to a couple of wild pitches, leaves one up, and suddenly he looks at the scoreboard, and it's 4-2. He's down.
Left-hander up in the bullpen for LSU, Cooper Williams, the sophomore from Alvin, Texas. A couple of meetings on the mound with Nate Yeske. Owen Pano is ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. This all started with back-to-back walks to start the inning. Pano rips this one out to right field. A base hit for the DH in the 9-hole. He's going to try to turn it into 2. A good throw. Actually just off the mark. Pano with a 2-out double on a rope to right field.
And he gets the 2-0 fastball, and it's basically a middle fastball. Pano does not miss it. 104 off the bat. I think Brown's got a chance with a good throw, a little bit offline, and Pano hustles himself into a double.
If that throw is to the bag, it is really close at second base. And now Jay Johnson will make the stroll to the mound, and that means it's time for a pitching change for LSU. Seven strikeouts in the game for William Schmidt, but walked 4 in the walks to start this fourth inning. Turn into his undoing. Only 3 hits, but they have come in consecutive hitters at the bottom third of the order for Ole Miss, and the sophomore's day is done. We'll tell you about the new pitcher for LSU. We got a new game in Oxford. Ole Miss leading it. Right-hander into the ball game, left-hander into the ball game for LSU. Cooper Williams, the sophomore from Alvin, Texas, and Alvin High School, making his 15th appearance of the year. He's 1-1. ERA a little high, up over 7.5.
Yeah, and certainly you got to think that 11 walks in 13 innings has led to a little bit of that ERA being inflated. The stuff looks like it's going to be low to mid-90s. Kind of an arm slot guy. Going to drop the arm down a little bit. Makes it tough on a left-handed hitter. Get a little more sweep on the breaking ball. A little sink on the fastball.
William Schmidt today making his 9th start of the season. Last just 3 2/3. Gives up 3 hits to the last 3 batters that he faced. Had the 7 strikeouts. As you talked about from the outset, there was no question the stuff was just off the charts good.
He was as dominant as you could be through 3 innings. I mean, Ole Miss did not have a chance at the plate. You walk a couple of guys, you throw a couple of wild pitches, you leave some balls up in the zone, and really hard to imagine, having watched him through the first three, that he didn't make it through the fourth inning. But credit Ole Miss, hung around, stuck around. The bottom of the order got some base hits.
Sunday, the Rally Cap crew will break down the SEC baseball and softball weekend with highlights, analysis, and interviews. They'll also get you set for the upcoming week with a look at the best matchups on the way. It begins at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. Dom Decker, top of the order, 0 for 2 with a pair of groundouts to the second baseman. He's got Pano out at second base. And he takes ball 1 from Cooper Williams. Three and 0. Cooper Williams last year as a true freshman appeared in 21 games, and he was spectacular. 20 innings of work. He had a 1.8 ERA. Held opponents to a 186 average. Drops in a strike on a 3-0 pitch to Dom Decker. Pitched in 3 NCAA tournament games. And was really good late in the year. In his final, 8 2/3, he did not allow a run. That was from April 26th through June 7th. The 3-1. Runs inside, ball 4. That's the third walk of the inning by now 2 pitchers. And Ole Miss has first and second, trying to keep the inning alive as Tristan Becerra comes to the plate.
Becerra is glad that anybody but Schmidt's on the mound. A couple of tough at-bats for Tristan Becerra.
0 for 2, pair of strikeouts, both, first time looking and then swinging. And now Aaron Beatty is going to go out and have a conversation with Cooper Williams. In fact, the entire infield will join them. LSU's already used a couple of its mound visits as Binge is up and throwing. He came into last night's game late. Kate Townsend has been sitting in the Ole Miss dugout for a long time now. His teammates have given him the lead when he takes the mound once again, and Becerra lays off ball 1. Becerra on the ground, right side, fielded by Braun, the first baseman. He'll flip to Williams covering just in time to get Becerra to end the inning. Ole Miss strands a couple, but they put 4 on the board, including the 4th home run of the year for Austin Foley, a 2-run shot. Ole Miss in front.
BK, ESPN is now the home of MLB.tv.
So all out-of-market games, live or on demand, plus all your favorite sports on ESPN. We need to tell the people, Carl.
We're doing it right now.
ESPN is now the home of MLB.tv. All out-of-market games, live or on demand, all in one place.
We welcome you back to Oxford, Mississippi. D1 Baseball has its mid-season projections out. We're talking field of 64. They project Ole Miss as a 2 seed in the Hattiesburg Regional, with Southern Miss as one of the top 8s. That one paired up with Corvallis. Oregon State hosting. How about LSU? 2 seed in Charlottesville, Virginia, paired with Alabama hosting in Tuscaloosa. This weekend marks the halfway point of conference play. A lot could happen over the next 6 weeks.
A lot will happen. Not can happen. A lot will happen. This league is so balanced and so good top to bottom.
Jake Brown leading things off for LSU in the top of the 5th inning. Takes strike 1. He is 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts looking today. 1 hit on the weekend. It was a 2-run home run out into the students beyond the right field wall in his first at bat of the weekend.
Cade Townsend throwing his first pitches of the day with a lead. He was in the dugout a long time, but you'll stay in there a long time for team scoring.
One ball, 1 strike. Townsend, he's down and in there for ball 2. There's a strike and the count evens. Crowd last night at Swayze Field of just under 11,000. It's pretty comparable today. The 2-2. Check swing. Able to hold up. Brown was. Foley smothered it and immediately went for the tag. We'll take another look. I think a good call there. Full count pitch. Cade Townsend to Jake Brown. Brown gets a piece of it to stay alive. Again, the full count. Strike 3 called, and for the 3rd time today, Jake Brown goes away looking.
Yeah, this is a fastball, and Brown, I must think that's away. Foley frames it in. Brown just kind of shaking his head as he goes back to the dugout.
If you've gone away looking twice, even if you think it's away, if it's that close, 7 strikeouts. Curiel perhaps playing some mind games with the Ole Miss fans. He hits this one foul on the ground. He stepped into the box with 11 seconds, which is completely within his rights. Hitter's got to be in the box, alert and ready with 8 seconds or more remaining.
Yeah, he's got an interesting pre-swing routine. He does it every time. Uses up at least 10 seconds pretty much every time. Works pretty well for him, by the way.
Not a lot to question about what Derek Curiel does. Walked in the 1st inning, grounded out to 2nd when he batted in the 3rd inning. 75th pitch for Townsend. So it's fouled out of play. Swing and a miss. Elevated fastball at 96, and that's the 8th strikeout of the game for Cade Townsend.
Yeah, there's just no chance for Curriel to catch up to this one. This one is way up and out of the zone. I don't care how good a hitter you are, that one at mid-90s just can't get the barrel to it. And my scorebook says that is 5 strikeouts in a row for Cade Townsend.
You took the words out of my mouth. The leadoff single from Braun in the 4th. He got 8-9-1 and then 2 and 3 to start this inning. High fly ball to left field. Golden in the gap makes the catch, and LSU goes 1, 2, 3 in the 5th. 6 in a row retired by Townsend.
Conference tournament, all of college baseball.
Run straight for the breakaway.
Let's get to Hoover. SEC tournament begins May 19th. That is one of the great college baseball events. A little bit different than it has been historically. Now with all 16 teams getting to the conference tournament, you see 3 finals there on the first page of the scoreboard. Georgia splitting the series with Florida. Oklahoma winning the series in Nashville against Vanderbilt, and South Carolina with a sweep of Missouri. Texas A&M trying to take the first 2 from Texas in Bryan College Station. Arkansas with a 1-run lead over Alabama. Well, the Razorbacks, that would be huge for them, trying to take the first 2 against the Crimson Tide. Balls and Dogs get set for Game 2 of their series, as do a couple of different breeds of cats on the Plains, Kentucky and Auburn tonight.
Every weekend you look at those scores and you think, wow, that's a really good weekend of baseball games. And then you look at next week's schedule and you're like, wow, it's a really good weekend of baseball games.
Ole Miss will be at Tennessee next weekend. That's where LSU was last weekend. LSU will be back at home hosting Texas A&M. Judd Utermark, full shift on against Utermark. Takes off speed there for a strike. The count 1-1. That's Pearson, Milam, and Dardar in order, 3rd to 2nd. All on the left side. I'm just making fun of myself at this point, by the way.
There they are.
There they are.
They're in the correct order.
Boy, big swing and a miss there at the 92-mile-an-hour fastball. Cooper Williams in relief of William Schmidt. The starter went 3 2/3, gave up just 3 hits. But he ends up with 4 earned runs on the ledger. 2 walks to start the 4th inning. Both came around to score, and then you had the 2-run home run from Austin Fawley. Full count here to Utermark. And he lifts it out into left field. A little humpback line drive that's going to fall in front of Stanfield for a leadoff single. First hit of the game for Judd Utermark. First hit of the weekend for the Rebels' third baseman.
Fastball inner half. Utermark pulls the hands in. Gets that ball down in front of Stanfield.
I got a lot of topspin on that one. Ole Miss in front 4-2. Got all 4 of their runs in the bottom of the 4th inning. Now a time called and a warning to the pitcher Schmidt
Did not allow Furness to get set. What's the terminology? Set and ready?
Alert and ready.
Alert and ready.
Ooh, that got Will Furness on the hand. He really grimaced and then immediately started jogging down to first base. First and second for Ole Miss, and the Rebels trainer Josh Porter will meet Will Furness at the bag. I think Bianco going to join the conversation as well.
And he's just really hurt. Right there
Wrist?
on the hand. Yeah. It's like the back of the hand maybe. Just not much flesh in that part of your body.
Mike Bianco at least satisfied. He'll head back to the dugout. See a little bit of a confidence shift at the plate for Ole Miss. Looked almost lost early in the game against Schmidt, and
I think overmatched is the right word. I mean, he was
Fair.
that good. He was that good. And yeah, I mean, you catch a break, you get a walk or two, and some wild pitches. Federico is the guy that handles the bat. Don't be surprised to see him laying one down right here.
this ball bounces in front of home plate. Pretty good job by Aaron Beatty there. That one was about a 58-footer.
LSU was shortened up, ready for a bunt. Federico obviously did not.
Zion Theophilus throwing in the bullpen for LSU. Utermark at second. Furness is at first. 2-0 now to Federico. Federico 1 for 2 in last night's game. I beg your pardon, 2 for 3 last night. He takes a fastball strike there. Had a first inning single, was hit by a pitch in the game, and then had the RBI single that off the bat like it might leave the park down the right field line. One hopped up against the wall in the corner. He thought he was at least going to have a double. He ran all the way to second base. The problem is the two guys in front of him didn't keep running. 3-1 now to Hayden Federico. He was tagged out on that play. That was the go-ahead run in the ball game though last night. 3-1. Cooper Williams. Lefty delivers. And there's a strike, and the count now full. Two on, nobody out. Full count pitch. Federico lines it the opposite way down the right field line. That is a foul ball. Longer that ball hung in the air, the deeper the breath the entire stadium seemed to take, and then a sigh when they saw it bounce foul by a few feet. Federico talked about his at-bat last night. He said he got a couple of good swings off where he fouled it off. He said, I didn't think their guy had anything he could get me out with. That was as a left-hander. He's batting from the right side against the left-handed pitcher. And he hits it on the ground through the left side, a base hit. Utermark hits the bag at third. He'll come around to score without a throw. And it's now 5-2 Ole Miss. Hayden Federico swinging a hot bat right now.
Yeah, becoming a difference maker in that lineup for Ole Miss. And certainly a welcome sight if you're Ole Miss, because he's a guy they've been counting on. Had a couple of hittable fastballs right here late in the count. Took advantage of it. Udemark, who can really run, certainly knew they were probably going to be able to score on that ground ball base hit.
Couple of hits for Ole Miss now off of Cooper Williams. Still nobody out, still first and second. And a snap throw out to second base. Will Furness may have gotten a little farther off the bag than he intended. Cannon Golden trying to get a bunt down, unable to do so.
And sometimes when you're at second, again, a guy that doesn't run great in Furness, you're trying to get a great jump, and then you see the pitch is going to be a strike. That was right down the middle. You're anticipating the bunt. Golden pulled back, and Furness, like you said, almost too far off.
Golden takes a ball there. Cannon Golden a strikeout and a chopper back to the mound. 0 for 2. That was tipped. That was the signal by the home plate umpire, Jeremy Dupree. So a foul tip for strike 2.
The ball way inside right there for Golden. Hasn't looked comfortable at all trying to get the butt down.
Likely to swing away now with the ball and 2 strikes. Does so, and he goes down on strikes. That's not a good at bat for Cannon Golden. First out of the inning recorded by LSU and Cooper Williams.
Yeah, big strikeout right there. Nobody advances. As you said, Golden unable to get the bunt down, then swings at a ball off the plate.
Here's Braden Randall, who had an RBI single. Pulled it out to right field in his last at bat. Randall lays off. One. Randall out to right field. Brown coming on, slides, and he's able to make the catch. Looked for a moment like he wasn't going to be able to get there and was also almost going to kind of give up on it, but then slides somewhat awkwardly and able to get his hand out to the side to make the catch.
Yeah, just tremendous plays. He's playing deep, but again, that gets to be a tough sun field this time of day. Really well done. You slide, you're able to get your glove under the ball. And certainly saved 1, if not 2 runs right there.
And now Jay Johnson out to the mound, and he is going to make a pitching change with Austin Fawley coming to the plate. Leadoff single, Furness hit by a pitch, an RBI single from Hayden Federico, a strikeout of Golden while trying to get down a bunt, and then Randall flies out to right for the second out of the inning. Tell you about the new pitcher when we come back. Ole Miss in front by 3. New pitcher in the game for LSU, wearing number 52. It's the right-hander Zion Theophilus, a freshman from Cincinnati, Ohio. Moeller High School. That's a high school football power in Ohio. He's making his 8th appearance of the year. 10 strikeouts, 6 walks, 4.15 the ERA.
4-pitch mix, fastball low to mid-90s.
Trying to get the final out here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Ole Miss got 4 in the bottom of the 4th, 1 in the bottom of the 5th so far. Cooper Williams works an inning of relief. 2 hits, earned run, a walk, and a strikeout, and the 2 guys on base belong to him. Summer of '83 is our next SEC story. It premieres Wednesday at 8 Eastern right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. Chronicles one of the most exciting College World Series ever. Texas's Roger Clemens and Calvin Schiraldi, Alabama's Dave Magadan, Arizona State's Barry Bonds, Michigan's Barry Larkin. Some stars at Rosenblatt in the summer of '83. Those guys could play. Dave Magadan, the all-time
Yeah, hit 500. Wasn't a bad
leading hitter at Alabama. His name came up yesterday. You and I were talking about Tristan Bassetta's start there. You're like, you're not going to hit 450 for the season. I'm like, unless. Of course, you made the point that the pitching then was not perhaps what it is now.
It is different now.
Austin Fawley takes a first pitch strike. Fawley with a 2-run home run, hit it out to left center field in his last at bat. 4th home run of the year for the Rebels catcher. This one got in on the hands, a couple of 92-mile-an-hour fastballs. This was Austin Fawley with a couple of strikes on him.
And just a mistake. I mean, the breaking ball is up. And much more like the Fawley Ole Miss saw last year, hitting a mistake out of the ballpark.
Final round of the Masters tomorrow could be one for the ages. Rory McIlroy and Cam Young tied at 11 under atop the leaderboard. Sam Burns 1 back, Shane Lowry 2 back, Jason Day, Justin Rose 3 back, Scotty Scheffler 4 back. Ball and 2 strikes to Austin Fawley. Runners at first and second. And Fawley swings through the breaking ball, and that ends the inning. Ole Miss strands a pair. Rebels have left 6 on base, but they Two 6-0 for LSU, 5-5-0 for Ole Miss. Rebels in front by 3. LSU stranded 5. Ole Miss is stranded 6 in the ball game today. We go to the 6th inning. LSU trailing by 3, which is not an unfamiliar position for LSU In their last 4 wins, they have rallied from 3 or more run deficits in each of them. Trailed Kentucky by 7, trailed Southern by 5, trailed Tennessee by 3 and by 5, and won all of those games, a couple of them going away. Stephen Milam to lead things off for LSU in the top of the 6th. Goes after the first pitch and fouls it off. 78th pitch of the game for Cade Townsend. He struck out 5 in a row before Cade Aaron Beatty flew out to end the 5th inning. 6 in a row retired by Townsend. Right-hander for Ole Miss looked a little shaky early in the ball game. He gave up a run in the first and a run in the second. This one hit out to left field. Golden moving to his right. Stays in the sun for that entire route and squeezes it for the first out of the inning. Almost the entire infield in shadows at this point. You've got the second baseman, Dom Decker, the first baseman, Will Furness, kind of standing right there in the edge of the sun. Time of day where it can kind of get tough, especially on the right fielder. Ball 1 to John Pearson. This ball hit high in the air to left field. Golden at the edge of the track makes the catch. Boy, Pearson just missed his 7th home run of the year.
Just off the end of the bat. Certainly coming off the bat, it looked right. Like it had a chance, but I think that ball was just away enough. Stayed in the ballpark.
So 3 fly ball outs in a row to left field. You had 5 straight strikeouts, and then Aaron Beatty, Milam, and Pearson all flying out to Golden out in left field.
Brings up the guy almost can't get out this weekend.
5 hits on the weekend for Mason Braun. There's a first pitch strike to the LSU first baseman. Braun today making his 17th start of the year. He has not made an error at first base. I think he just kind of played his way into that spot. They had Zach York, who was playing first base and has been in the lineup and started 32 games coming into the weekend. We have not seen him through a game and a half. 0-2, Townsend trying to retire Braun. Braun hits it in the air to left field. Golden going to squeeze it for all 3 outs in the inning. We go to the bottom. Going to the bottom of the 6th inning in Oxford. It's 5-2. Ole Miss leading it over LSU. Tigers got single runs in the first and the second innings. Back in the first inning, RBI double from Stephen Milam, a sacrifice fly from Chris Stanfield in the second. Ole Miss able to plate 4 runs in the fourth. They added 1 more in the fifth, and probably a disappointing 5th inning considering they had the first 3 men aboard and only got 1 run out of it. But happy to add to the lead as Zion Theophilus is back out to face the 9-hole hitter Owen Pano. And then top of the order, Dom Decker and Tristan Becerra. Two 2-0. A couple of breaking balls stay up to Owen Pano. His average is up to 296, and Owen Pano, a little bit of a unique story in college baseball. Highly recruited coming out of high school, kind of the star of the high school recruiting class a couple of years ago, an expectation that he was going to step onto campus and just play right away. And it was hard for him as a freshman.
And the thing is, he did play right away. I mean, he was a starting shortstop, leadoff hitter, and it just didn't work for him last year.
2-2 pitch runs inside. In an era where guys transfer all the time, Pano elected to come back to Ole Miss. He's not the starting shortstop this year. He takes that pitch inside and draws a walk. But he's kind of played his way into a role on this team by having some really good at-bats over the last month or so of the season.
That's what I was going to say. There's been some real quality at-bats, and certainly some base hits thrown in there, but at-bats like that, taking close pitches, getting on base. And as Colin Reuter kind of struggled the last several weeks in a DH role, Owen Pano's gotten his chance, and so far this weekend, he's had a good weekend.
Top of the order, Dom Decker's been on base 1 time. Make it 2. A single out into right field for Decker. Pano hits the bag at second. He's headed to third. Will do so with a safe slide. And Ole Miss has the first 2 on in the inning again.
Yeah, and here's another guy for Ole Miss that looks like he's starting to swing it better, and that's Decker. You know, certainly big things were expected out of Decker, and been getting on base, certainly getting the walks, but the batting average not where I think everybody expected, and he's had some better swings lately. Pulls the hands in right there, gets base hit to right.
Theophilus gets the strikeout to end the 5th inning, but he walks Pano and gives up a base hit to Decker. Ole Miss has runners at the corners, nobody out. Bottom of the 6th inning, and Jay Johnson is headed out to probably make another pitching change. In fact, I think Jay Johnson has made the signal to the bullpen, but perhaps the umpire, Clint Fagan, did not see it. He's still looking for a signal from Jay Johnson. Danny Lockenmeyer going to come into the game, and Clint Fagan says, well, I guess he called for it. We'll take a timeout. Runners at the corners, Ole Miss in front, 5-2, nobody out. Danny Lockenmeyer is the 4th pitcher of the game used for LSU. The lefty making his 10th appearance of the year. Only 3 1/3, though. He has not gone deep much, and Ole Miss has a left-handed hitter in Tristan Becerra coming to the plate. This is probably a matchup substitution.
I think that is exactly right. Certainly been how LSU has used him this season. I think the most hitters he's faced in an outing is 3. Ole Miss does have 2 of the next 3 hitters are left-handed. See if that is his role. Fastball in the low 90s. Slider and a changeup. Transfer from North Dakota State.
Number 18, Texas A&M, and number 24, LSU will play the second game of their 3-game series next Saturday night in Baton Rouge. Coverage begins at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. So a week from now, we'll be about 45 minutes from first pitch.
My calendar's set. You told me yesterday to set
did.
the calendar on that, so I'll be prepared next Saturday.
A Texas A&M team that is leading 11-3 over their in-state rival, the Texas Longhorns.
Having a good weekend. That was a big one.
Texas made it interesting in the top of the 9th last inning with back-to-back home runs to make it a 1-run game, but Aggies got out of it. Tristan Becerra dealing with Lockenmeyer, and Lockenmeyer goes fastball and gets strike 1. Got helicopters flying over Swayze Field. Chinooks? Is that right? Help me out here. I think those are Chinooks.
I got military helicopter. We had a flyover with jets before the game, and we got the 6th inning flyover with helicopters.
Google, help me out. That is a Chinook.
Good call.
Thanks. Becerra fouls it back. Got a fastball there. Behind in the count, a ball and 2 strikes. Leadoff walk to Pano. Went first to third on this single by Dom Decker. Judd Utermark waits on deck.
Yeah, LSU looking for strikeout. Ole Miss certainly wanting Becerra to put this ball in play. LSU conceding a run on a ground ball.
All in 2 strikes to Tristan Becerra. Oh, and he throws it to the backstop. Well, that's one way to get the run home. Pano steps on the plate. Dom Decker goes to second, and it's now 6-2.
Yeah, literally no shot for Aaron Beatty here. I mean, this ball is way up and out. Padding deadens the ball. Pano scores easily. Certainly a gift right there for Ole Miss.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Becerra puts it on the ground, but foul right side. Chris Cleary grabs it. First base coach's box. It's got to be one of those big hops for him to make an effort. Decker at second, and that ball, goodness gracious, hits Becerra in the back of the head.
It's a breaking ball. Lockenmeyer threw 2 of those breaking balls. They weren't close. One went to the backstop, and obviously this one way up and out of the zone. Fortunately, got Becerra on top of the head.
Kind of back half side of the helmet. And Jay Johnson did not get what he wanted out of the left-on-left matchup and is headed back to the mound. Becerra's got a big smile on his face. Probably a conversation of that's why you wear a helmet. Ole Miss trying to open this game up. They lead at 6-2. Got 4 runs in the 4th, a run in the 5th. They have added a run in the 6th. Still nobody out with a couple of guys on base and a new pitcher coming in for LSU. We'll tell you more about Connor Binge when we come back. Connor Binge making his second appearance of the weekend. He came in and struck out Austin Fawley last night in the bottom of the 8th inning. That was the last out for LSU defensively. 9th appearance of the year, 6 strikeouts, has not walked a batter, but again, short-term relief, just 3 1/3 so far this year.
Talked about him last night. Fastball mid-90s and a slider, mostly 2-pitch mix. Team's hitting .357 on Binge this season.
So Lockenmeyer works no percentage of an inning. He had the wild pitch that allowed Owen Pano to come home to score and Dom Decker to get out to second base. And then he hit Tristan Becerra in the helmet. Tomorrow afternoon, the softball series finale between number 7 Florida and number 24 South Carolina is coming your way. 1 o'clock Eastern, noon Central, the SEC Network Plus. All games are also available on the ESPN app. Judd Utermark will come in to face Connor Binge. Opponent's hitting .357 off of Binge on the year. 4 runs, 3 earned, and 3 1/3. Decker at second, Becerra at first, and Utermark at the plate. .95-mile-an-hour fastball, just under the zone. 1-0. Utermark struck out back in the first inning, walked and scored in the 4th, singled and scored in the 5th. Takes a strike there, right on the borderline. 1-1. 2-1. A borderline pitch where he does not get the call. Arkansas leading 5-4 over Alabama in the top of the 8th inning. Razorbacks scuffling a bit. Alabama red hot going into the weekend. 2-1 on the ground. That ball through a pair of defenders that were both on the left side of the bag, trying to go first to third. Becerra does that. Decker came around to score. It's now 7-2.
Yeah, LSU playing 3 men on the left side of the infield, and Utermark just hits this ball through one of the holes. And then really good base running by Utermark. Utermark takes advantage of his throw to third base and gets to second. And Jay Johnson is going to make another trip to the mound.
Signals for a left-hander. Ole Miss adding on 7-2. I think there's a belief with this LSU team that no deficit's too big because of what they've done in their recent games, but Jay Johnson tried to figure out a way to stop the bleeding. Still nobody out in the inning and a pair in scoring position.
Clearly trying to play the matchup game, going left-hander against Becerra, brings in the right-hander, and makes sense with Utermark. He's had issues with that right-handed breaking ball. And then you're going to go right back left-hander to face Will Furness.
RBI single for Utermark, gets to second on the throw. Becerra is at third base now. That RBI was the 33rd of the year for Judd Utermark. That's what we were talking about earlier. Down 7-0 in the 3rd inning to Kentucky and won at 17-10. Trailed 6-1 to Southern, won that one 16-6. So a 7-run win, a 10-run win, a 2-run win after trailing 4-1. And then trailing by 5 in the 5th last Sunday at Tennessee. They end up scoring 10 in the 12th and win at 16-6. I don't think Cade Townsend was still on the mound in the 7th inning of any of those games.
And they're going to be down at least 5. It's 7-2, and Ole Miss an opportunity to, as you said earlier, really open this one up here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
Ethan Plog is the new pitcher. Plog making his 13th appearance of the year. Sophomore from Green Bay, Wisconsin, and a transfer from Iowa Western Community College. 2-0, ERA of 7.36.
You can certainly see with this arm action why he would be difficult on left-handed hitters. Kind of slings it in there. Lefty's going to feel like it's coming from behind him. Fastball in the low 90s, maybe even mid 90s at times. That curveball's going to have some sweep, as you would expect from that arm angle.
Ole Miss trying to get back to 500 in conference play. Came into this weekend at 5-7. There you see Cade Townsend. He has retired the last 9 that he has faced. After a little bit of a rocky start, only 1 walk in the game and 8 strikeouts for Townsend.
And he has spent a lot of time in the dugout the last couple innings. These have been long half innings for Ole Miss.
And then has come out and looked really sharp.
No doubt. Do worry at some point, though. That pitch count getting deeper in those long half innings.
Townsend sitting on 84 pitches.
Yeah, I mean, I don't doubt that Ole Miss wants him to get through the 7th.
First pitch sweeps away for ball 1 to Will Furness.
And there's a right-hander throwing the LSU bullpen. You can wonder if they don't match up one more time after Furness.
You do have Federico as a switch hitter. One ball, 1 strike to Will Furness. Milam, the shortstop, is pulled up the middle. It's not a full-on shift. There is a big opening on the left side of the infield, and we have seen Will Furness go the opposite way with a fair amount of regularity. Becerra at third, Utermark at second. How about you go the opposite way past a diving Stephen Milam? Becerra scores, Utermark scores, a 2-run single. Oppo shot for Will Furness, and it's 9-2.
I mean, you just called it. Talked about how he will go opposite field. Gets this ball out of the reach of Milam, and Ole Miss gets a couple of more, and this game is getting away from LSU here in the 6th.
Ole Miss with 4 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th. Could have been more there. And 4 so far here in the 6th. Middle innings have been good to this Ole Miss offense, and now Hayden Federico, who has driven in a couple today with a sacrifice fly and an RBI single, takes ball 1 from Ethan Plog. Two and 0. Cannon Golden waits on deck. Federico with a walk, a sac fly, and an RBI single. Takes a strike there. Federico's season batting average has climbed up to 267. He's up over 330 in conference play. 2-1. 3-1. And it misses for ball 4. Hayden Federico has been on base 3 of his 4 plate appearances, and a productive at bat when he didn't, with a sacrifice fly. Now, Ole Miss is going to pinch hit for Cannon Golden. Rebels are going to send Colin Reuter to the plate. A right-handed hitter against the left-handed pitcher. Reuter started this season off, and I say started off, first month of the season on an absolute heater. Had 8 doubles. He's hitting up close to 400. He's cooled off significantly. He goes after the first pitch and hits a rocket foul to right field.
I still think you're going to see him against left-handed pitching a good bit. I just think maybe Owen Pano has earned some opportunities against right-handed pitching as the DH.
Reuter takes strike 2 behind in the count. So Plog gave up the 2-run single to Furness, walked Federico. Now he's ahead, no balls and 2 strikes to Reuter. Braden Randall waiting on deck. Furness out at second base, Federico at first. Strike 3 called. Reuter goes away looking. First out of the inning. And a big strikeout.
Good pitch by Plog. Really good location. Brought that fastball right on the inside corner, knee high. 94 miles an hour.
And now Braden Randall to the plate. A walk, an RBI single, and a fly out. Randall, a junior from Rockwall, Texas. Played in 33 games last year. Mix of shortstop and second base. 18 starts, hit .286. Played in 43 games as a freshman. Had 34 starts as a true freshman in 2024. Two balls and 2 strikes now to Braden Randall. On the ground to Milam at short. He'll throw across to first base, not in time. Braun, the first baseman, immediately said to the dugout, let's appeal that.
LSU's challenged the safe call at first base. This play ends up in front of review.
Milam, he said they were going to appeal the call at first base and safe.
Well, first, because of the shift, you can't turn a double play because second baseman can't get there. Milam throws it to first.
You saw Braun. You're only going to see the very end of that. He kind of started his stretch and was lunging away from the bag. I mean, that certainly looks like his foot's on the bag.
And I'm a player reaction guy. And Braun, immediately asked for the review.
Although, does he already have the ball in the glove?
Yeah, it looked like that first shot we had, the ball was in the glove. This is going to be an out at first.
Out. LSU retains their challenge.
All right, so there are 2 outs in the ball game. In the inning. Braden Randall.
Some of these half innings for Ole Miss, it felt like a ball game.
Braden Randall has retired 6-3. It brings Austin Fawley to the plate. This is the second of the last 3 innings where Ole Miss has gotten 9 men to the plate. Fawley has a 2-run home run, 1 for 3. A couple of guys in scoring position for Austin Fawley. Two balls and no strikes to Austin Fawley. Fawley, the Kentucky transfer a couple of years ago. He and Campbell Smith would kind of split the catching duties a season ago. Fawley had 21 home runs, kind of forced himself into the lineup on a daily basis. And the home runs were on top of his elite defensive abilities. As a freshman, he played in only 10 games at Kentucky. Fawley lays off, and the count goes to 3-1. And ball 4. And the bases now are loaded. And Owen Pano will come to the plate, the guy that started the inning with a walk and has already scored a run. Austin Fawley, a guy that obviously has the ability to hurt you, but with his struggles, that's really frustrating if you can't throw it over the plate against him.
Yeah, no doubt. And certainly LSU's hurt themselves immensely with walks today. It is super hard to win baseball games given as many free passes as LSU has today.
8 of them, plus 3 wild pitches and 2 hit batters. And now a 2-0 count to Owen Pano with nowhere to put him. Pano struck out in the 3rd inning, doubled in the 4th, walked and scored in the 6th, and is going to see 2 pitchers in this at bat.
Jay Johnson has worn out a path this inning, hadn't he? And they're going to go right-handed pitcher with left-handed hitting Pano. Johnson had seen enough of Plog.
Ethan Plog gave up the RBI double to Will Furness. Walked Federico, got a strikeout of Reuter. Got the ground out to Randall and a chance to get out of the inning when he walked Austin Fawley and was dealing with Owen Pano. So 2/3 of an inning for Plog in relief, and we will take a timeout. Ole Miss in front by 7, 9-2. Maverick Rizzi making his 16th appearance of the year. He is every bit as tall as he looks. 6'9", 251 out there. 26 strikeouts, 14 walks. LSU looking for an out to get out of this 6th inning.
And as you would expect with a 6'9", 250-pounder, he's a power right-hander. Mid-90s, power slider. And he's walking into a mess.
Bases loaded, 2 out in the inning. Theophilus began this inning for LSU. He got the last out in the 5th inning. So he started out facing Owen Pano. He walked Pano, gave up a single to Decker. Then they went to Lockenmeyer, who hit a batter and was pulled. They went to Connor Binge, who gave up an RBI single and was pulled. They went to Ethan Plog, who faced 5 hitters, and had a 2-0 count on the 6th, then Owen Pano. So 2-0 to Pano, now facing Maverick Rizzi. Rizzi delivers a 96-mile-an-hour fastball for a strike. Outside, 3-1. Cool name.
Maverick Rizzi.
Yeah. 3 balls and a strike to Pano with nowhere to put him. Big swing and a miss there. It had a little life on it, too. Runners will be moving with the pitch. 2 down in the inning and a full count. Rizzi trying to get LSU out of the inning. Pano fouls it off, and we'll do it again. Owen Pano with a solo home run last night, a double, a walk, and a run scored today. Waiting on the full count from Rizzi. And almost the exact same result. Fouls it over the grandstand roof on the third base side.
Pano has seen nothing but fastballs from Rizzi since he has come in the game.
Four in the 4th, 1 in the 5th, 4 in the 6th so far for Ole Miss. Pano lines it out to left center field, a base hit. Furness comes home to score. Stepping on the plate. It's a bases clearing double for Owen Pano. What a game for him. Furness, Federico, and Foley all score. And Ole Miss leads at 12-2.
Yeah, what a nice swing by Pano. What a good at-bat by Pano. He sees 2 different pitchers, fouls off a couple of pitches, gets that ball down in the zone, splits the gap with Foley moving, able to get in to score. And now Ole Miss with that 10-run lead. LSU's going to have to score in the top of the 7th inning to keep this game going.
3-run double for Owen Pano. Here's Dom Decker, and he takes down and in.
Boy, these last 3 innings for Ole Miss, I mean, you can't have any different game. I mean, Ole Miss was no shot at the plate the first 3 innings. The last 3, they have scored 12 runs.
Breaking ball for a strike. Rebels went 1-2-3 in the first. They struck out 3 times in the second, but there were 2 walks there. They went 1-2-3 in the third. And then you had walk to start the 4th with William Schmidt still on the mound, who had been untouchable, literally had not given up a hit.
He'd given up a couple of weak ground ball outs. Everything else was a strikeout.
So it was walk, couple of wild pitches, sac fly, chopper to the mound, and then he gave up 3 hits in a row at the bottom of the order. Snap throw out to second. Pano had got a pretty good lead, and Highland puts the tag on, but not in time. Ole Miss sent 9 to the plate in the 4th inning. Decker is the 11th to bat in this 6th inning. And he hits it out to Milam at shortstop. Soft line drive to end the inning. 7 runs on the board for Ole Miss. Cade Townsend today for Ole Miss. A little shaky right out of the gate, but then he got it going. 8 strikeouts, 6 innings, 2 earned runs. They came 1 in the first, 1 in the second.
Yeah, and you could see the breaking ball was really working for him again after that first inning, and the fastball is always a good pitch for Cade Townsend. Uncharacteristically was kind of wild early in that outing today, settled in, and you could see that big smile on his face, in line to get the win today.
Kind of wild, still just 1 walk.
Yeah, but it was like under 50% strikes, which is really crazy for him in those first couple innings.
But he got it going, settled in, and retired the last 9 that he faced, but his day is done. The extended time in the dugout combined with a 10-run lead. But Ole Miss turning to Hudson Calhoun now. Calhoun making his 9th appearance of the year. And one of the really good arms on this Ole Miss staff. Rebels trying to get 3 outs and end this ball game. 9th appearance, 2 starts, 2-2, 3.96 ERA for Hudson Calhoun.
Yeah, he's been really good, like you said. Mid-90s fastball, going to throw a cutter to slider. Also, we'll mix in a changeup to left-handers. As you can see, the 10-run rule is in effect, so LSU's got to get someone across the plate, or Ole Miss wins this one right here.
Omar Cerna Jr. in the 8th hole to lead things off, followed by Seth Dardar, and then top of the order, Chris Stanfield. Cerna is 1 for 2 with a doubled back in the 2nd inning. Takes first pitch strike from Hudson Calhoun, a fastball at 95 miles an hour. The 0-1. Check swing, and they will say that Cerna held up. Bounced in that time, 1 ball and 1 strike to Cerna. Cerna, the freshman from Houston Lutheran South Academy. Caught in last night's ball game. Aaron Beatty with the start behind the plate today. 1-2. Fastball caught the inside corner. Texas A&M has taken the first 2 from Texas, an 11-4 win today over the Longhorns in Bryan College Station. Fly ball to right field. Pacetta camped under it, 1 down. A lot of bubbles expended in that part of the state of Texas over the last couple of days.
They do like to do their bubbles after they score a run. And they have scored a bunch. I'm sure very excited Aggie fans, as a matter of fact.
20 runs over the first 2 games of that series for A&M.
And more importantly for them, 2-0 in that series.
And who it was against doesn't, that kind of enters their mind a bit as well.
Not only Texas, but Texas coached by Jim Schlossnagle, who of course left A&M to go to Texas.
One ball, 1 strike to William Patrick. He is pinch hitting for Seth Dardar. Patrick came into the game last night as a pinch runner for LSU. Gets a chance to swing it here in the top of the 7th. LSU down to 2 outs unless they get a run. Patrick takes a strike. He's hitting .333 on the year. Ole Miss has brought Brett Mosley into the outfield and center field and moved Federico to left. Fly ball out to right. Pacetta toward the gap. He will make the catch. Mosley, who had just come into the game on a dead sprint, dove. But I think he dove behind Pacetta just to get out of the way.
I don't know. I think he's trying to catch the ball. Fortunately, he didn't run into Becerra.
That was just a long look from Becerra and Mosley. What are you doing?
Yeah, you can smile. I mean, Becerra's standing under the ball, and Mosley's diving behind him.
Mosley's like, let's sit on the bench all day. Need some action. Top of the order, Chris Stanfield. Actually, a pinch hitter here. Yaman will get a chance, and he takes strike one. Edward Yaman the fourth, who we saw in last night's game. He ended up in the 9-hole last night and popped out in his only at-bat. There is strike two to Yaman. I think Ole Miss, if they wanted to, could come back to Hudson Calhoun tomorrow.
Yeah, certainly. I was going to say one of the important things is Calhoun just with 10 pitches right now. They didn't want this inning to go long.
This crowd knows the 10-run rule is in effect. The pitch, strike three, called. That is your ball game. Fly out, strikeout. Ole Miss held scoreless through the first three, and then they put 12 on the board in the middle innings. LSU got a run in the first, a run in the second, and no more. 2022, the last time that Ole Miss won a series against LSU. They're going to play for a sweep tomorrow. Top 25 matchup here in Oxford. It was a 6-3 win last night, a 12-2 run rule victory today. Thanks for being with us on a gorgeous Saturday afternoon in Oxford. For our entire SEC Network crew and my partner Keith Kessinger, I'm Richard Cross. Final score from Oxford, 12-2. We'll see you tomorrow at 1:30.